It's rotten out there, isn't it?
It's horrible. Literally everywhere is just getting all waterlogged as well. It's so muddy everywhere. At least it's dry in here.
Novel.
Next one.
Do you find this percussion helpful?
This what?
Percussion. So we're just getting the last of the conduit and wires that we're going to need for the mezzanine downlighting. We've kept... Ooh! Falling objects. Do you need them? There you go. We're keeping it really simple up on the mezzanine, just having simple downlights dotted along the ceiling. There's going to be really limited headroom up there, so we don't want any dangling light fittings donking, well, Ricky, on the head more often than strictly necessary. It's kind of weird having gone from spending so much time looking at beautiful finished rooms on Pinterest and the like, getting inspiration and helping us plan how we need our lighting to be, and then coming back down here and kind of looking what a demolition work in progress site we're still in. But it has also been quite exciting because it gives you that next sort of burst of enthusiasm for the project to see where we're actually going to get to. Just coming outside because it's a bit loud with Ricky drilling away, but here are some examples of the types of lighting that we're quite taken with. The main thing I was concerned with in the house was that it is a small space, so I don't want to go OTT having too many colours, but I think having some interesting shapes, especially with the pendant light, and then also focusing on texture is something really interested in. I'm a bit of a textiles girl, so this is kind of entering into my area of expertise, and it's definitely a part of the project that I've been really, really excited for. That said, it is going to be a while until I can make my vision boards a reality. Are you feeling a bit drafty? Spin around.
Is it bad?
Yeah, I mean, it's not great.
I can't, oh God, yeah. I can't believe that. I've just split my jeans. I've never done that in my life. Am I getting a big bum? Are you being serious? Right. I'm blaming it on the jeans. It's thin material.
One more time.
I'm blaming it on the jeans. You're going to have to stitch these up. I haven't got any more, so you're going to have to stitch these up to work it.
Oh.
Okay, so that's all of the ceiling lighting wired up, ready to be plasterboarded over and then have the downlights installed. There's more lights that still need to be fitted, downlights in particular, but they're going to be concealed within the mezzanine, so we don't have to worry about them for now. And we still need to fit these back boxes, but We're not going to do that for now. We're going to wait until the electrician has come and check everything's okay, because he's going to have to, where's the holes, knock a number of these out, pass some little piece of conduit and wire through to connect everything. So we're going to wait and let him configure that how he wants it before fitting them. I know we're still a long way off from being in a livable space, but seeing all this conduit going in and kind of having thoughts about all this stuff definitely makes the place feel slightly more domesticated and less of a building site. You ready to roll? Or should I say, ready to chip?
Ready to rock and chip. Yeah, got my PPE. Got my entertainment system. It does help doing all of this chipping, having some good tunes or podcasts to listen to.
What are you going to be pumping?
Pumping tunes.
Yeah.
We are making reasonably good progress trimming up all of the olive trees, but it's just a case that you need to chip as you go, because otherwise you just have the most ginormous pile of trimmings to deal with. Like this. All of this was left from when we picked the olives a few months ago. One good thing about leaving it that long is that all the leaves have dropped off, so hopefully it'll go through the chipper like a dream.
I hear you like razors. How about a date? I don't play cards, but I know a queen when I see one.
You don't need the gift of the gab to give a great gift this Valentine's Day. This week we've partnered once again with Holzkern. They create beautiful watches and jewellery for men and women made from natural materials such as FSC certified wood, freshwater pearls and gemstones, making each piece one of a kind. You can feel the care that goes into creating these pieces. They make everything in small quantities so that they can be sure that every item is of the highest possible quality and is going to last a long time. My watch is the Diana, and she caught my eye because she's made from olive wood, which felt pretty fitting considering how many olive trees we've got. Holzkern make it easy to choose a gift that they'll love, plus they offer free worldwide shipping from Vienna with customs fees prepaid, and all orders placed until the 7th of February are guaranteed to be delivered before Valentine's Day. Click our link in the description and use our code LIFE to receive 15% off your purchase and a free gift bag.
We're a little bit in limbo this week, to be honest with you, because we'd planned on plasterboarding the ceiling in the tiny house, but our plasterboard delivery never came, and it's looking like now it's going to be delayed for another few days. Unfortunately, the plasterboard boards are just too big to get in the van, so we need them delivered, and because the tiny house is so small, we don't need that many boards. We only need 8 to cover that roof. We're going to buy 10 just to give ourselves spare, but it means that our local builders merchant won't deliver because they have a minimum order quantity, and we've got nowhere to store the spares. So we've had to order it from one of the big box stores and just kind of wait for the delivery. So we're kind of at their mercy. So the plan is just to not waste the time and be as productive as we can. There's a number of loose ends that we need tying up. So one of them is finishing up that soak away for the French drain. The lid is still sitting on there loosely. So while Victoria's chipping, I'm going to take care of that. just making up my own technique here to put this on because we have a plastic lid, ABS I'm assuming, on top of concrete boxes. Now I only discovered a few days ago that there's actually a concrete lid to go with the concrete box. The plastic lid we've got is to go with the plastic boxes. However, I've paired these up because you never see the concrete lids sold anywhere. The only reason I know they exist now is because I was researching another project and I saw them online, but they're €3 a pop and I'm not gonna pay nearly €20 delivery to get one. So we're sticking with the plastic one. So I've mechanically fixed it down with some screws. I mean, that's not going anywhere. Now I'm just gonna mix up some mortar to run all around these edges and slope it off nicely so water runs away from the lid and the opening. Job done. It's not perfect, but it will definitely do the job. There's a couple of tiny imperfections that I am desperate to tweak and try and sort out, but the sun is basically set. And I know from past experience now, if I start to faff around with this, I'm going to end up creating more problems. It's just not worth my while. So I'm going to leave it be, come back out a bit later on once it's started to harden a little bit, remove the lid, take the tape off and just clean that lid up a bit. Before I leave you for the night, just going to show off my little mitered corners. I'm quite pleased with them considering I definitely made this mix a bit too wet. So speaking of wetness, the forecast is saying there's a high chance of rain tonight now, which I probably wouldn't have done this had I known this earlier on, but it's very changeable at the moment. So I'm going to get some plastic and a little bit, cover that over and protect it, because the last thing I want is it getting washed out. So I'm going to go join Victoria, walk the dogs for a bit, have a relaxing evening, and we'll see you in the morning. Good luck.
Oh, I hope so. We've not done any pointing for quite a while and I feel like I've lost my rhythm a little bit with it. We'd wanted to just keep chipping away at the job because it is massive to try and complete across all of the walls of the building.
And it's a bit tedious. So the more we can break it up into smaller sessions,
Yeah.
the more we're going to keep our sanity.
That didn't go to plan though, because we discovered the damp problem and we obviously needed to put all of our energies into rectifying that.
Also, we came to the realization that it's not really the sort of job that you can just chip away at, because by the time you mix a mix up, you come down, you kind of get all your area prepped, wet everything down, point it up. You then have to be available however many hours later on in the day or the next day to be able to brush it and clean it all off and get the finished look. Realistically, it's not something you can do for 2 or 3 hours. You need kind of a day minimum, don't you?
At least, yeah.
So today's the day. Victoria's going to be pointing by herself today because I need to do some more stonework. I think in a few weeks' time we are probably going to just focus all of our efforts on the pointing to try and smash it all out and get it done, because we just want to get it finished. But it's one of those things, if we don't just keep going at it doggedly to get it done, it's going to keep dragging on and dragging on. So I think we're at that point now where we've both had enough and we just want to have that final push. But in order to do that, there's a number of holes in the wall that the stonework needs to be filled in first and have a bit of time to set before we do all the pointing around it. So we have some areas like this where the stonework, actually you can't really see, because we blocked these up to stop birds going in, but you catch the drift. Like just where the stonework has kind of worn away and come out over the years. So I need to fill them in. There's also a number of holes on the interior. A number of you have noticed them and always say in the comments, why do you have holes in your walls? So these are the holes in question. So what you'll normally find is there's a hole there, and on the opposite side of the room, there's another one at the same height. Now, a neighbour told us that the reason they're there like that is because they used to run a beam kind of from one side to the other when they were building this place to get them higher up. So they'd have a few of them in place, lay some boards over, and then they could kind of work up higher and higher, essentially making their own scaffolding. Why on earth the holes never got filled back in is a mystery to us, but it's a job that's fallen on me to rectify. So, I mean, just looking around here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's about 6 of them just on the inside. So maybe I'm not going to get them all done today, but I'll do my best.
Good girl.
You're making good progress.
Yeah, it feels like I'm making good progress here, and then I step back and I'm like, oh no. In my mind I'm like, yeah, I'm about halfway across the wall.
You're getting baked in the sun. How's it feeling?
I gave it a little bit of a prod and I need to get the sprayer back on it. It's getting quite a lot of direct sun, so yeah.
Spray it down. Hello, big boy. Hello. Gotcha. Having a nice sunbathe. Poppy girl. I think somebody wants their dinner. Yeah, good boy. Should you get some dinner? Come on in. Good boy. She's off. Wait. Okay. It never ceases to amaze me how much a dog can just eat the same food over and over again and absolutely lap it up like it's the best meal ever. To be fair, these two have pretty bougie dinners. They normally have fresh chicken. They normally have actually some cooked veggies as well, but we didn't have any at the moment. And then we wet the kibble down with some chicken broth. So it must smell and be pretty tasty to them. It's not just bone dry kibble. For those of you that have been watching for, well, pretty much since the beginning of when we started making these videos, you'll remember when we built our tiny little greenhouse, and we always get comments from people on that video asking, you know, how well has it stood up? Where can they get it from? It looks like a nice little thing. I mean, it was fairly cheap as greenhouses go. We couldn't really have a glass one here because of the temperature in the summer, so it is plastic panels. And we finally have had our first casualty. We've just put a piece of wood on here at the moment because in all this rain and all the storms we've been having, we came out the other day and that panel there had just completely blown off over onto our neighbour's land. Luckily, we managed to retrieve it and put it back over, but yeah, this is going to need replacing. Victoria found a store that sells them in the size we need. We just need to cut the length down, so we'll try and get that sorted next week. But yeah, considering that thing has been there a year and a half, maybe it's even 2 years actually, it's held up pretty well. When we were making it at the time, we both remarked that it kind of felt a bit flimsy putting it all together. But yeah, to go that long in the Portuguese storms that we have here, considering how windy it gets, good job, little greenhouse. Made a big mistake here. I used the sharp sand that we had for the flooring here. It is such awful sand to have for mortar. More of it is going on the floor than it is on the stonework, but it will be all right once it goes off. Right, I am basically out of mortar. How much have you got left?
Yeah, not far off, the same. Barely any. It's getting tricky to get out of the bucket. I'm quite happy with how much I've got done today, actually.
Yeah, you've done well.
Yeah, I changed my technique a little bit because previously I've been working more linear, but I've chosen today to give it a whirl and work almost like a square metre area and then just fill in. I'm not explaining this terribly well. I'm basically, rather than going across, I'm just sort of completing one area, and I think it has definitely made me quicker.
Yeah. Moving less.
Move less, fill more.
Well, I'm going to propose, not that one, that we potentially wrap it up a bit earlier than planned.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's Victoria's birthday. Hang on a second. The sun is setting behind me, you can't see me. There we go, that's better. It's Victoria's birthday tomorrow, so I think she deserves to knock off early today. Tomorrow we got the day off. Still not completely sure what we're going to do. Madam's not decided.
Madam, that sounds like pop.
Okay, the lady has not decided yet. I'm giving you until 100 hours to decide what you want to do tomorrow. We cannot let this day go unmarked.
Okay. Sir. Yes, sir.